This presentation is brought to you by Smoooth Productions.
Welcome to another edition of your Wednesday Night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. What is going on, party people? It is your boy Smooth. That is Smooth with 3 O's, and welcome to another edition of your Wednesday Night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. Come on in. Tell a friend or tell a friend. Share this stream right now because we have another great show for you. Shouts out to the Platform Sports Talk Show Network, man, from the Man Cave, Ladies Night. They have done an amazing job with their most recent shows. I definitely appreciate what they do for the Sports Talk Show brand. Let me know how y'all doing in the chat, because I was on TikTok earlier, put in Smoooth Productions, Smooth at 3 O's, and I was just letting everyone know about the Platform Sports Talk Show. And for those watching for the first time, thank y'all very much. I truly appreciate it. Been doing this thing for 8 years strong, man. And man, shoot, I feel like I want to say 9 for real. It might be 9 years now. I might have to double check that real quick. But this show, man, you know, we have so many great shows that's on the radio, on TV, and it doesn't give people the platform. The platform to, get out what they want in regards to sports. And that's why I have this show. And this show has been a blessing. I have a whole family. It's amazing. We do our thing in regards to our mini group chats and stuff, talk about different sports topics and the whole nine. And then when we have the show like this, we talk about it. We get all the information that we got from the sports world, because as I always say, sports is the ultimate reality show. It never is a dull moment in regards to sports. It doesn't matter what sport it is. It's always something. And that's why I have this show. And along with this show, I got to do the promo, right? Go ahead and follow the Platform Sports Talk Show all across social media, from Facebook to the X to Instagram. Make sure y'all go on YouTube, subscribe, and click on that bell so anytime we go live, just like we are right now, you will be notified. And when I say notified, that means that you're going to see a notification. So once again, on YouTube, click on that bell, click all, because as soon as the show is live, your phone will let you know, hey, the Platform Sports Talk Show was on. You need to go ahead and get on that show right now and check it out. That's what that means. You know what I'm saying? So it's an amazing show. We don't just focus on local stuff, because, I'm rocking the St. Louis Cardinals, the STL. It's not just local. Talk about everything, all the sports. You know what I'm saying? So we don't hide. We just provide our analysis, our thoughts, and do our thing. Also, if you know someone that would be an incredible guest on the show, shoot us an email, platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com. You can also go out to your event, a nice sporting event, whatever it is, sports related. Want to get some on the spot interviews, some conversations going, maybe with some players, coaches, fans, the whole nine. We can go out there and do our thing. We can even do a live show on remote from somewhere. We used to do shows on top of rooftops downtown and go to bars and certain spots and do amazing shows. We want to go back out there to the community and do things like that. So shoot us an email, platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com, and we can make that happen. So many ways to check out the show. So there's no reason why you cannot join us and be a part of something special that this show is all about, man. So show us love. Also, if you can't see us for some reason, you can hear us crystal clear, high definition on Hot 365 Radio, where it is always hot. Just go to the website Hot 365 Radio, or you can just go download the app. Just put in Hot 365 Radio. No matter if you have iOS or Android, we got you. They also have a Twitch channel, so you can see us as well on twitch.tv/Hot 365 Radio. You can also catch the most recent show every Thursday. I'm so sorry, Thursdays, my bad. Every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Once again, every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. As I said earlier, check out Ladies Night every first Wednesday of the month. Last week, and amazing, another amazing show. Shouts out to the wifey, Jayance. Shouts out to the host, Bunny, and to the co-panelists, Annie. Those three had an amazing show. Great conversations. They even wanted to start, y'all, no, not themselves, but they want to see the WNBA start a whole new reality TV show. And TikTok and Instagram is picking it up. I saw the likes. I saw the people like, okay, that's a good idea. So ladies may have something there. If they do, I just need 10%. You know what I'm saying? Because when it blows up, they're going to thank the Platform Sports Talk Show for what they brought up. Then you have the Man Cave, where anything can go down. Shouts out to Stan, the host, to Rio, to Sadal, the selector, Craig Black, the blackest man in radio, and also T-Bone, who made a special appearance on the show last time, and then to a special panelist, one of my longtime best friends, my brother Miko. He was on the show. He was visiting from Albuquerque, New Mexico, him and his family, and he is very opinionated and let his voice be heard, and it was just amazing. So shouts out to the fellas. Then also the non-sports talk show, the Smooth Conversations. Once again, Smooth with 3 O's. Go ahead and follow, like on YouTube as well, Smooth with 3 O's. And then also you can check it out on KBDR Beat District Radio. I do have a special show in store tomorrow. It will be live on YouTube at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Once again, on Smooth Conversations on YouTube. And then it will re-air tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on KBDR Beat District Radio. Go to the website, put in beatdistrictradio.com, or download the app KBDR Beat District Radio. So that is enough about me for right now. My panelist for this evening, she is an amazing asset to the team. She is free right now for the summer in regards to not being in college, holding things down for the future of this world, this generation. And she's available for the summer, and I am so appreciative of her. She brings just an amazing element and great perspective to the Platform Sports Talk Show brand. So everyone, show love, leave comments. Let's have a good time living her life out there in Jacksonville, Florida. Got Annie. What's happening? Annie, how you doing? Uh-oh, wait a minute. For some reason, I can't hear you. What is going on? Let's find out why I can't hear her. Let's get this audio right. Let's see. Make sure that it's not anything on my end. Let's see. How come I can't hear Annie? Yep, everything is on. Let's see. Annie, try to say something again. Nope, still not hearing nothing. Let's try this out and see.
Hello, hello, hello.
There we go.
Okay, awesome.
So it wasn't me. Yes.
It was me. It was me. I had to change something in my settings.
Hey, that's what technology is all about. It's always something you gotta tweak a little bit. But glad to have you on the show. And as I said on the intro, bringing you on, I do want to take this time just to show you love and give you your flowers. For those who don't know, she's been A1 since day one when it was just Sadal and I, and she's been rocking with us. And she just brings a great perspective, and even to the point where I'll say something, or someone else from a different show will say a certain topic, bring something up, and then when it comes to her perspective, it makes you be like, "Oh, I didn't think about that," or "That's right," or "Oh, she crazy." But whatever it is, it's going to be something, but it's going to be worth listening to, and of course, watching as well. So, Annie, always just want to say thank you, because I'm always grateful for anyone taking time out to be on this show and for this long and to still rock with your boys. So thank you for all you do for the Platform Sports Talk Show Network.
Of course, of course. Happy to be here for as often as I can be here.
Exactly. Yep,
Hello to
definitely.
my haters. If any of my new haters are tuning in, hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, haters. It's me
Hi,
in the flesh.
haters. It's so nice to meet you. It's so good for you to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. So once again, welcome to your Wednesday night sports delight. So how have you been? I know you was just recently traveling, weren't you?
Always. I had two like family reunion type things this past weekend, both in Pittsburgh, and then I have another one coming up next weekend in Detroit. So it's been all family after what seemed like traveling only for work. But this summer has managed to be busy, even though I'm not teaching with traveling, being all over the place. But it's been good getting to see family, catch up on things, especially since we're like what is to me the dull season in sports. Hey, Miss Williams. I don't really follow a lot of the summer sports other than the WNBA. So this is the time for me to be traveling and just out and about because once we get to like football season, then I'm back to wanting to spend Sundays at home.
And that's one of our topics. So we definitely got to touch on that later on throughout the show. Once again, leave comments, leave questions. This show is all for you. That's why it's called the platform. We are providing a platform for you, the sports fans, to give us your opinions on any sports topic you like. We have no problem. Me, I run a show. I have no problem changing course. If there's a topic that people want to discuss in the chat and it just getting back and forth and we taking there, we have no problem shifting gears because this show is all for you. We want to engage in whatever you want to talk about. We have things outlined. I'm always prepared. We set, we good. But if there's something else that just comes our way, we have no problem discussing it and having a good time talking about it. We don't claim to be the best experts or whatever it is. We just giving our opinions, but we do love sports. We have a passion for it, and we do care about it. We don't just say whatever. We back it up. So once again, spread the word. Let people know about the Platform Sports Talk Show if they don't know already, and let's invite more people in and let's have a good time. So, with that being said, before I get to the sports, prayers up to the families in Texas and also in Mexico. Then I just saw something recently about something that happened in let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Something that happened in it was a wildfire that happened recently. I'm not sure if it's on the West Coast or not. Said about 110 people injured, while thousands more ordered to shelter in place. 2025, y'all haven't woke up by now. It's been quite a year, from
Yeah.
tornadoes to floods. It's just been a whole lot going on. So prayers up to everyone right now at this time because we know it's needed. And if you haven't gotten right, get right. That's all I have to say. If you haven't gotten right, get right. Seek help. go to it. You know what I'm saying? Because life is too short. But now let's get right
Oh,
into the.
also just prayers to my Tar Heel family. So there was also extreme flooding in Chapel Hill
That's
and
right.
all around Orange County in the Durham area. And, it's summer. So there's a lot of like summer programming happening for students. There's like orientations, college visits, all that other stuff. So even though class isn't in, definitely affecting Tar Heel Nation as well.
That's right. Yeah. So once again, this prayer is up to all right now during this time. So let's get right into the first topic. You now have my attention. What sports story or stories has your attention? Andy, you up first.
Let's see. I've been following all the NBA trades. Of course, my team, the Clippers, are not doing what needs to be done. So it's, watching other teams like get great players and shake things up and like be the talk of like media darlings about like, have they gotten a chance now? Have they opened their window? And it's like, James Harden will play for us till he's 40. Yay. Also, the U.S. America team won against Brazil in the championship. So another women's basketball league championship for the U.S. Really fun to watch. After blowing teams out in the very beginning, it was actually pretty close with Brazil in the final, mostly because of Camila Cardoso, who played for the Brazilian team, who's one of the like twin skyscrapers for the Chicago Sky and the WNBA. But lots of reason to be excited about the WNBA moving forward. So I think I mentioned this last week. A lot of the players on the team have the potential to be in the WNBA draft next year. And so like the league is going to be super talented for a very long time. And then speaking of the WNBA, the captains finally picked their rosters. So the WNBA All-Star teams have been finalized. Like 3 rookies made teams this year, which again speaks to like the strength of this year's. And yeah, just really excited for everybody who's playing and like watching, like flowers to Aneka Ogwumike as well in terms of like the number of all-star teams that she's made. She's like, I think underrated in terms of all-time WNBA players, but glad she's there. But other than like Aneka and Stewie, like, I mean, I don't know if Sabrina or Asia are considered old heads at this time, but there's a lot of like, well, Skylar Diggins is probably in that older class, but there's a lot of like younger talent that's really exciting to see. So I think it'll be a good all-star game. Yeah, excited to see it.
And 2 things. Let's stay with the All-Star game first. Nafisa Collier, St. Louis's own, is the captain, and so is Caitlin Clark. They're captains for their team, as you see, Team Collier and Team Clark. Just like last year, I guarantee you that this WNBA All-Star game will 10 times be better than the NBA All-Star game by the men. Because last year, if you saw when Caitlin Clark was taking the ball up the court, you saw what's the name? I think she's on here. Let me see. Kelsey Plum. She was guarding her like it was game 5 of the WNBA finals, and that was in an All-Star game. Like they were getting physical in the WNBA All-Star game. I guarantee you, and Miss Dub, I know you probably will agree too, but I guarantee you, from the competition that they have and the actual game itself, I guarantee you that the ladies are going to put on a show in Indianapolis coming up very soon for the whole weekend. I guarantee you it's going to be competitive. It's not going to be no little whatever, just, I don't feel like playing. No, these ladies are going to show out and ball, and I look forward to seeing that. Second thing, you brought up Camila Cardoso playing for the World Cup thing. That brings up to me another issue is that you have players who have to leave their team in the WNBA to play in this cup. That's crazy. And that has to be addressed because your team shouldn't have to lose a player for a week or two because they have to go and play in a World Cup game or whatever it is. That has to be addressed and something has to be done to not have that happen in future years.
Yeah, I think it's just because I don't think women's basketball is the global game that men's basketball is.
Right.
So for most of the people on the USA team, they're NCAA players, right? So yeah, like Hannah Hidalgo, you had Olivia Miles, you had a couple of the UConn women. So it's a lot of like WNBA players. Not WNBA, like NCAA players. So people from the WNBA don't necessarily have to leave if we want representation. And if we want to win, which was evident. But for some other countries, like they don't have another pool to pull from. Also, like, you're not missing much between the Commissioner's Cup and the All-Star game. There's like a lull in games anyway. And so you're not missing that many games due to the shortened season. Like the WNBA season is half of what the NBA season is. And so, and I think that also speaks to the competition in the All-Star game as well, is, if you're losing like a game check for one game to go play for your country, it may be worth it in the WNBA because a game check might not even be, comparable to like an endorsement you might have in your home country, right? As opposed to like an NBA player or like some NFL players where like a single game check is like what some people make in a year. That's not the case here. Also, the shortened WNBA season, I think, leads to that competitiveness in the All-Star game because they've played 20 games by the time they get to the All-Star game. So they're not tired. They don't have tired legs. They're not saving themselves for anything. And the way that you see players let up in the NBA All-Star, for many, it's just like it's finally a break after playing what is the equivalent of the full length of the WNBA season and knowing that you still have the equivalent of a full length of a WNBA season to go after All-Star week. And so I think like people just, either their bodies are tired or there's more risk aversion because you have 40, and if you go deep in the playoffs, like 40 to 70 more games to play. Whereas like in the WNBA, you've only played 20. You only have like 20 more to go. And so you can afford to be more physical and to actually like work on refining skill in a WNBA game. I think the other thing that stands out is that because there's fewer teams in the WNBA, you see that multiple teams have players who play for the same team on the same All-Star team. And so I also just think that that leads to some of the competitiveness or like just flow of the game to have like Collier and Courtney Williams on like the same team, right? To have Caitlin, if she plays, and Aaliyah Boston and who is it? Nylisa, who I think is their point. So you have people who like play together, which also naturally lends itself to better competition because there's always at least one other person on the court that you like have played with, have shared time with. Whereas like for the NBA All-Star game, you rarely have more than one person from a team make the All-Star. So everybody's playing with someone new who they've likely never played with before. And that also takes away from some of the quality of the competition. So there's lots of reasons to appreciate the WNBA All-Star game.
Yeah, I agree. And you brought up something too in regards to the NBA, how they play so many games. But someone, I can't recall what show it was, but they brought up a good point about the reasons why you're seeing so many injuries, like the Achilles tendon, for what Tatum, Damian Lillard, Halliburton recently had, and other guys. One, even Kobe Bryant had the same issue too, about like wearing these low ankle shoes. I think that needs to be addressed. They probably won't address it, but I think that needs to be studied more. Because back in the day, players were wearing mid to high top, like actual high top shoes, and you didn't get these injuries a lot. And with science being supposed to be so much better now than what it was back in 1995, you would think there should be some kind of scientific knowledge of showing, okay, well, this player wears high tops or mid tops more than low tops, is more risk adverse,
Mhm.
But then second, which I was like, oh, that's such a great point. But you have all of these, you have the youth when they're like 13, 14, 15 years old playing so much AAU ball. That is risking even further injury. So by the time you are 21, 22, 23 years old, then what happened? Boom, you have a tendon pop in your first, second, third year of the season. And that could affect your whole career. So think about all the times, even in baseball, how you have so many different leagues where these kids are what I'm saying, in not even in high school yet, and they're throwing so many times and pitching and doing all this stuff that by the time they get to college or the major leagues, they play a season or two, and all of a sudden, bop, shoulder, Tommy John, because of the usage of how many games these kids have to play just to get noticed. That be seriously addressed. I'm not saying eliminate AAUs and RBI leagues or etc., but the usage, the wear and tear that these kids have to go through just to try to get noticed. Then when they get noticed, they're getting to a certain level, but then all of a sudden, that one moment, pop, boom, now you could be gone for a year. Now your whole career could have changed. The way that you play a certain sport may have changed because of a certain injury that you may have gotten. That needs to be talked about as well.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the low top shoes. I think I saw someone make that point as well. And to me, that's the same thing as someone noting that like 4 of the people who had ACLs also were the number 0. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the number 0.
That was stupid. Yeah.
So I don't think it's the low tops. I do blame AAU ball for several reasons. One, kids are starting to play sports like it's a job earlier and earlier. So it's not just like evenings and weekends, just hooping with friends. It's not just during like a singular season during the year where maybe you have practice like 2-3 days a week for your middle school or high school or whatever, and then a game on Friday night, and then it's over. A lot of AAU teams treat their team, or if you want to be on one of the elite teams, or you want to have favor with the coach, and all those sorts of things, treat playing basketball like a part-time job. And so kids are playing more hours per week. Their practices are longer than they've ever been. And there's not a real season when you add in AAU. Like, you could be playing summer ball, and then you have like your high school team in like the fall, then you probably play travel in the spring. And so it's year round, which also adds to that repetitive wear and tear. But the other thing that it does is that it takes away from your body being able to train other muscles. So we're starting to see fewer and fewer athletes who played more than one sport or even lettered in more than one sport in high school, because basketball takes up so much of your time, but it also only, no matter what your game is, it's using the same joints, ligaments, and tendons all the time versus maybe sometimes playing baseball or sometimes playing football or something, or playing like literally any other sport that uses a different combination of like muscles to give the other ones a break, but also to strengthen other things so that you're not just fully reliant on that singular like muscle chain all the time. And so I blame like AAU and the like professionalization of amateur sports before college, right? And the like AAU coaches make money, teams make money, they get deals, all that other stuff. Kids aren't getting that as well. So there's also like this inequity that's being built into the system. But no, I don't think it's low top shoes. I think that that is coincidental. I think it's, someone also mentioned that people who were hurt recently were wearing their own shoes, which I also think is coincidental. A lot of them are made in the same place. They're designed by the same like major companies. The outside looks different. It's not like there's something structurally different from Kyrie Irving's shoe than anybody else who's with like Nike or whatever. It just has his logo and his branding on it versus others. So I don't think it's any of those things. I really do think it's AAU, how it adds. Oh, I was listening to a GM last year talk about how when they do physicals before the draft, that when they get, you know, the tests and stuff back from their doctors, that these are the types of like bodies that you would have seen, like your Kobe Bryant's, who didn't have that injury until later in his career, right? He wasn't like 24 with that. Or even like a Dame Lillard, like, yeah, he tore his ACL in like a year where we are drawing attention to it, but he's older. He's at the age where you would typically see that. To have these like 24 and 25-year-olds is what's unique. But the GM was talking about when you see their physicals and stuff, that they're coming in with the bodies, not of 18 and 19-year-olds, but of people in like their mid-20s. And so they also said, and I think we've seen this play out in this year's draft, where some kids coming in are refusing to do physicals for teams ahead of the draft. And it's because they don't want that stuff figured out, or someone trying to calculate how many miles they have on their body, or where there might be slight strains now, or sprains now that could lead to tears later. And then lastly, I think the other issue is that we know that calf strains eventually lead to Achilles tears. And yet we consistently see players try to play through calf strains. And so that's also part of the issue, is that I think people hear the word sprain or strain and they think it's not serious. And it's like, even a strain or a sprain is still a tear. It's
Right.
just like a full tear or something like that. And so I mean, that was the same thing with Tatum. It was the same thing with Halliburton, where it started with calf strains. They were playing through it. And now, you know, the natural progression of your body is that that ligament is going to tear, that tendon is going to tear next. So I think players and coaches have to stop rushing people to play through strains and sprains.
And shouts out to Guy. I gotta see if this the same guy.
It is.
Okay.
I know guy. Yeah.
Now I'll talk about the group guy.
Oh, it is not the group guy. Which is very disappointing to see in concert, because it's basically a California raisin version of Aaron Hall.
I saw them in concert a couple years ago. Yeah.
It's sad.
But he said it's also the more complex movements that players now have to make now on offense, defense. Having to guard a larger area of the court means more mileage during games than any other era.
Yeah, that could possibly be it too. And having people guard more positions. Like there's a premium placed on people who can guard, 1 through 4 or something like that, right? And so that also then necessitates that you're moving further on the court, doing different things versus like Rudy Gobert, who maybe, I don't even think he would make 10,000 steps in a game because he just camps out right under the basket, does what he needs to do effectively, but he ain't moving. He ain't running out to the line to defend people. He's not picking nobody up half court. He's not doing none of that.
He stay in the paint as a big man should. And Guy brings a good point because look at Victor Wembanyama. I mean, he's like 7'8", and he's like guarding point guards at times. Mm-hmm. So that's a great point. Look at Giannis. We've seen what happened with KD. Jokic. Now, luckily, he hasn't been in a position where he's injured himself. Hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't happen to him. But yeah, you're seeing so many bigs that are playing like guards and trying to defend 1 through 5. I know you said 1 through 4, but I'm saying 1 through 5 because that's how this game is that they want you to be as versatile. And look at how broken down Joel Embiid is. Mm-hmm. It's sad that as great of a talent that he is, that he cannot remain on the floor because his knees just cannot take it. Just cannot take it. That's just the bottom line. Yeah. So it's an issue going on with sports.
And the pace of the game has picked up as well in terms of number of possessions per game, speed of the game, pace of the game. So people are moving faster and greater distances across that, 48 minutes or whatever than they were in the past era, like the 90s. People talked about lower scoring or whatever, or greater defense. No, there was a lot of just like standing around and dribbling, waiting for the person to make the next move, people catching their breath. That wasn't defense. It was rest. It was setting up things. It was draining the shot clock. Like, it was not defense that led to low possession games. They were moving slowly. But that's really changed with the present game where there's a and I think Golden State kind of ushered this in. I think as much as they get credited for changing the game to focus on the 3, I think their like league changing contribution was the pace with which they played. And they really sped the game up. And I think that has gone more league wide than even like the 3s, because you still need someone who can make the 3s to be a team that's just going to be like, we're going to shoot a bunch of 3s. You still need the skill to do that. Everybody can move faster. And so I think that they like ushered in that era. I think then that trickles down to like the collegiate level, and then that trickles down to like the high school and the AAU level. So I think there's a premium placed on playing faster, right? That's why people thought Virginia was such boring champions in the NCAA, because Virginia men's basketball was like, we're going to use the entire shot clock. We're going to play like the 90s. We're going to dribble the ball up slowly. We're going to stand at the top of the key, let our point guard hold it. Everybody's just going to sit and watch for like 5-10 seconds. And they played really slowly. And they won, and then people didn't like it. Like, people love a run and gun offense, which necessitates a running defense. And so people are traveling a lot more now than they used to, regardless of the height of their shoes.
I love it. And see, everyone, we like a good 40 minutes into this show, and we're still on, what has our attention? And I ain't even got to mine yet.
What's yours?
But I know that the hottest topic over the last 3 weeks of our shows have been about Caitlin Clark and the fans. Well, Annie, the fans, where the fans that may not be too happy, because it was announced today that Angel Reese is the cover athlete for NBA 2K26. So you know, them fans are going to be mad. Oh, how come it wasn't Caitlin? Last year it was Aja Wilson. This year It is Angel Reese. So you know them fans are going to come out and be mad and want to say, "Oh, let's boycott NBA 2K."
No, they
Oh,
won't.
they're just hating on Caitlin Clark.
No, they won't. This is like, was it Nike a couple years ago where they like ran an ad during like Pride or something,
Yeah.
and a certain section of the population was like, "We'll show them. We'll buy Nike stuff and burn it." And
Mm.
like, and then Nike ran a whole follow up campaign instead of just do it called "Just Burn It." Like, if what sells this game out is Caitlin Clark fans buying it so that they can do TikToks and YouTube videos of them trashing it and burning it and doing all this stuff to it, they sell the games either way. They don't make money by how much you play it. They make money by how many people buy it. So this is smart. A lot of people will hate buy it so that they can get some clout trashing it for their 10 followers, and the NBA will still collect their money.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, "Oh, okay, 2K, see what y'all doing." And like you said, you raised a great point because that's what marketing is. You know what I'm saying? Is let's get the people going. How can we get these people to talk? And it's smart. So whoever decided on Angel Reese, shouts out because that was once again that was very very smart on their part. So shouts out to her though because it's going to help her brand. And she said that she's rocking her new shoes on this picture as well. So
And they're low tops. So according to Smoooth, it's imminent.
hey, knock on wood. But if something happens, it'll go on to the playoffs. Let's go back to July the 9th show of the main show. Ain't no, but I'm just saying that's what I was. I saw someone else talk about it. I'm like, and it has been. People been saying it like it does make sense. The high tops, mids, whatever. It could be coincidence, speculation, whatever it is. But we'll see. We'll see. But we don't want to wish no injuries on anyone. You know what I'm saying? But we know that in sports it does happen. But once again, congratulations on Angel Reese and his opportunity. Second, this here I thought was pretty interesting because, as you know, Turner is no longer doing NBA games. Even though the inside NBA crew is now with TNT, they're now with ESPN. But with that being said, now you have the return of NBC. So you think about as a kid watching them Bulls games or wherever else, you was watching it on NBC, and now Amazon Prime is in the mix. So starting Starting this upcoming NBA season, I have right in front of us the Amazon Prime NBA coverage team and NBC Sports coverage team. So as you see right now, for Amazon Prime, and I was very impressed. If you saw the Olympics this past summer, or last summer, excuse me, with the men's game, D Wade was the analyst for all the big games, and he did an incredible job. But you also have now Udonis Haslam, Steve Nash, Candace Parker, Blake Griffin, Dirk Nowitzki, Taylor Rooks, and Stan Van Gundy. They're going to be the faces, the voices on Amazon Prime's team. And for NBA on NBC, so you get to hear that famous da-na-na-na-na-na-na. You can hear that it's back. And Reggie Miller, Iron Eagle's son, Noah Eagle, who was the play-by-play commentator with D Wade for last year's Olympics, did an incredible job. And then now this one here, Michael Jordan. He's gonna be. I see Andy shaking her head. He's gonna be doing some special correspondent things, and he hasn't been on TV in God knows when. So I'm very intrigued, Andy, to see what MJ is gonna bring to NBA on NBC. Before I continue, why did you shake your head?
He's not going to be good. He's not going to be good. he doesn't understand anything or anyone but himself.
Mm.
And his analysis is going to be like, why aren't they me? Like, that's not an analysis. Or like, why couldn't they just do this? Why didn't they just do that? Like, I'll tell you what he will bring to the sports cast, and that's hateration and holleration.
Mm.
I think he'll be terrible. I'm also disappointed to see that they split up D Wade and Noah because they had great chemistry during the Olympics.
They did.
And so I wish that they were like broadcasting together. I also think that I love Blake Griffin. Was definitely one of my crushes. His first year in the league. What makes us think he would be good at this? Am I missing something? I know he did stand-up comedy for a while. Like,
I want to say they're banking off of his glowy, bubbly personality. I don't know how he will be as a commentator because he has not been on any like studio shows, provide any kind of commentary. But I'm just saying, I think it's just basically based off of his personality. That's why Amazon hired him. But we're gonna find out.
not a fan. Like I said, I've seen his stand-up comedy. Not a fan of that either. So,
And this guy talking about Jordan with the Wizards and the Hornets.
right. Yeah, I don't know what would make anybody think he would be good at this. Now, will people tune in? Probably.
Oh yeah.
Does it add anything to your broadcast? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so I believe, and let me continue on. Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, Mike Tirico, Maria, what's her last name? Tip of the tongue right now. It'll come back to me in a second. And then Grant Hill. So I believe that the A team is going to be Mike Tirico and Grant Hill. Oh my God, what is her name? Maria.
Maria is the only thing that's coming to mind too.
Ali. Maria Taylor. There we go. Maria Taylor, in which she was on ESPN. And then, I think we had the discussion about the whole Rachel, old girl Rachel from ESPN, that whole little incident, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Maria Taylor is going to be the voice, or not voice, but like the studio.
They're just going to put her on the sidelines in some tight dresses. Let's be real about what they do with women sportscasters. She's going to be interviewing players in tight dresses down on the sidelines.
So, Miss Dub asked about Charles Barkley. So, he's still going to be on Inside the NBA, but now ESPN has picked up the crew. Now, ESPN has already said that they're not going to change anything in regards to how they do the show. So, it'll still be the same production that you've seen on TNT, but it'll be brought over to ESPN. He's not going to be doing games at, he's not going to be doing play-by-play commentary or whatever at the games. They'll still be in their studio doing what they normally do. It'll just be with ESPN now. So that's what Barkley is going to be on right now.
I would be skeptical of that. Do what we do. If I were them, I would have a Pat McAfee clause in our contract that says as much as you let him cut up on ESPN and curse and say things, you need to let us do that on Inside the NBA. Don't be coming in here trying to censor us when you let him run wild on your network. So I want a Pat McAfee clause for Inside the NBA on ESPN.
And I'm sure that Barkley and Shaq probably had brought it up already. Like, hey, don't have us on here thinking that we're going to hold our tongues. No, we're going to still do what we do. And that's why we're here. Your mom, shout out to your mom, says it's all ratings. That would be short-lived. Probably talking about Jordan. Most won't be back, or maybe Blake Griffin. We'll see. Miss Dub says, I may have to find a way to get ESPN, at least for the NBA season. There we go. Miss Dub, I got something for you. I will I'll message you about that. That you ain't gotta, well, you had to pay, but it'd be like maybe monthly or every 3 months. But it'll be worth it. So I got you. I got you. Just stay tuned for that. I'll message you. But yeah, so that's the team for Amazon and NBC Sports. Once again, I look forward to seeing NBC Sports and bringing back that old school, and we'll see what they're gonna do. But going back to Maria Taylor, she's not going to be a sideline reporter. She's going to just be in the studio.
Okay.
So
moderating all the other people like they do Joy Taylor or what's her name? Molly. Is she just gonna be the moderator for men's conversations?
Yeah, and what's the lady from ESPN? She did the finals this year. Golly, I'm blanking on all names right now.
Was it Molly?
No, not Molly, but she does NBA Countdown. And she did it with Stephen A. Smith, Perk, and Bob Myers. My God, what is her name? Tip of the tongue. It'll come back to me later on. But if y'all know what I'm talking about, let me know in the chat. Just leave a comment. But her name is slipping my mind right now. From ESPN Countdown. See, that's the power of having Google right by your side. Let's see. What is her name? No. From ESPN NBA. Malika Andrews. There we go.
Yeah.
So Maria Taylor will be doing the same thing that Malika Andrews is doing, and in regards to being the head of the table, so to say. Yep, there we go.
Moderating. Oh, my dad brought it up. So yeah, Malika.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah. So she'll be wearing a tight shirt, moderating the discussions of men instead of on the sidelines.
Tight skirt.
Listen.
Nope. All right. So
had the WNBA team do an NBA game. Like I love hearing like Elle Duncan, Chinea Gumike. I always forget the third person on that show. I would love to see Monica McNutt on some shows. You know, I think that they should bring that over to the NBA because a lot of these people just seem boring.
So the lady talking about is Andrea Carter.
Andrea Carter, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, she's good too.
I would love to see the four of them together do like NBA commentary. That would be fun.
Yeah. All right, so that's what has our attention. Now let's get into some even more great topics on your Wednesday night sports delight. Life after LeBron. So people, there is going to be a time. It may be after this season or maybe next that LeBron James is going to be gone from the NBA. Yes, it's going to happen. He's been around for almost 55 years, still kicking. Mm-hmm. Tires are getting worn out. And I think he kind of solidified that it's getting close when he had his whole golfing video when he went golfing last week. Mm-hmm. But it kind of like when I saw the comments, people were saying, oh man, this is really it. Like this is the sign that it's coming to an end. Mm-hmm. And as much as people, you have those who, yes, they respect him, they love everything he's done. Then you even have your haters. We know about the haters, Annie. Wink, wink. You and Craig Black. Wink, wink. But at the same token, there has not been no one over the span of the time that he's played that has brought so much attention to the game as he has done. And that's where a lot of people forget about what he has done for the game. He has been the face for every year that he's been in the NBA. The question is that the moment that he steps away from the game, is the NBA in position to be able to move on without having someone like LeBron? We know that we have the young stars like SGA, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, Jokic, the whole nine, Giannis, so many other players. But can the NBA rely on someone like they have been doing for LeBron once LeBron steps away?
So I think it'll probably be in 2 years, right? Because Bryce has to play in college for 1 year and then he can come out and then maybe having a year play with Bryce. I think that's his plan. Since he doesn't get to share the court often with Bronny. I think the NBA needs to lean into what they do best and where their like audience or customers are. And I don't think that that is sitting in front of a TV watching a live game. A lot of the NBA is consumed on social media. A lot of the NBA is consumed through like YouTube recaps and clips. And so when people say like viewings are down, live ratings are down for the NBA, but not like overall engagement in terms of people, again, like following through like social media and other channels and like those sorts of things. And so I think you need a LeBron James if your strategy is going to remain. We need box office draws for live events. If you move away from that and lean into where your fans are, I think the league survives with the NBA the league survives without LeBron James because I think we're entering a my guy era. A lot of the people who are like whether they're that's also part of it. Like you could say superstars, you could say not superstars. Like so much of NBA engagement is around the discussion of the NBA. So
Right.
is SGA like a superstar? Like that'll keep people going, engaged, watching clips, dissecting things, drawing streams, drawing commentary, all that other stuff, right? But a lot of the people who I would say are like prominent in the game now, outside of LeBron and like Steph, KD, like their era, have such different games and such different personalities that I think we're entering this like my guy era. So it's not, the discussion isn't going to be like who's the best, most dominant player. It's going to be like who's your guy. Like I'm a Jason Tatum type guy. Oh, I don't really mess with Tatum. I don't like this about his game. I'm an Anthony Edwards guy. No, I don't really like Anthony Edwards. I don't like this part of his game or blah, blah, blah. I'm more of a Wemby guy. So I think it's going to be more around like my guys, like who people are the people who model what they think basketball should be, what they think a player should be. And so I think if you lean into that, then there is still a strong position for the NBA to hold as a league. It won't be what the NFL is, but it's not the NFL. Like part of what makes the NFL so captivating as a live event is that there's only 17 weeks of this, right? So
Right.
you get 17 chances to watch live your team play for most people, right? If you have 80 something games, there is no premium being placed on seeing this live, right? And so it's more about like catching up with things. It's more, I think that people are less tied to teams in the NBA. I think a lot of football is like picking a team with your 9 and treating it like it's a unbreakable contract to like any other team. And I'm one of those people. So, yeah, whereas like with the NBA, it's more about liking players. It's maybe being attracted to like certain teams. Like I'm definitely going to watch the Pacers more now after this run. Like the Clippers are still my team, but I'll probably, I don't like actually watching the Clippers. They're my favorite team, but I can't watch them. Speaking of conspiracy theories, I am convinced, even though my mom says this isn't true, I'm convinced that the Clippers can tell when I'm watching them play live and they get nervous because I will not have the game on. We'll be doing well, and then I'll start watching it, and then we start dumb stuff. And I'm convinced that they're like, Annie's watching now, and they like lose focus. So I tend to watch, like in terms of live games, I probably watch Golden State more than I do the Clippers, even though the Clippers are my team, because Golden State doesn't get nervous when I watch them play. And so you're, as the NBA fan, you're more likely drawn to like storylines, matchups, what team is having a run right now, like those sorts of things. And so I think all of that is fine without a LeBron James, who's like a undisputed candidate for greatest of all time, taking up all the oxygen in the room.
So I will say for myself, will there be more parity? Yes, because as you saw in the NBA Finals, what OKC and the Pacers did, as you said before, it's going to make you want to watch more Pacers game. We'll get to the Pacers very soon. But to me, I think the NBA is going to struggle with not having that polarizing figure. Not saying once again that the KDs and Stephs can't be it, but it's just not the same story as what LeBron was. You think about Bird, Magic. After Magic, of course, Jordan. So like everyone was like, the NBA world evolved around Jordan. Then of course you had Kobe. Then here comes LeBron. You don't have that next person. I don't see it yet, in which the NBA story is evolved around. Can this guy overtake the whole world? The whole NBA. That's how it was with LeBron for all those years. Is what can LeBron do to bring his team back, or can LeBron overcome this, or can he win? Whatever. Even though you had all the other teams, it was still about that story. And I think I just don't see anyone right now in my mindset that has a similar story that LeBron and the Kobe's and even Jordan has had, where you can be like, man, even though I'm going for my team, I still want to see about what this person's going to do. I'm not too sure that the NBA has that right now. Zion Williamson, like when he came out, big deal. Like I saw what he was doing back in high school, then what he saw in Duke, but now he's a laughingstock. He lost all the oohs, ahs, because one, he can't stay healthy. 1 minute he's like boom boom, then he's like boom boom, with the stomach. So there's no one that you can get behind, and whether you're a fan or you not generally hate that person, but you know what I mean. You see him as that boo. I want to go out there and pay my money and boo him, and don't want. You know what I'm saying? I don't see someone out there right now that can do what LeBron has done. Maybe that may emerge. I hope it does, but I just don't see right now the drive, that will, the marketing ability that LeBron has brought to the league. Whether you love him or hate him, he's still rent free in your head. I'm not seeing anyone right now that, now maybe Cooper Flag, if he comes out, not saying him come out and be like LeBron that maybe scored 30 points a game like he did his rookie year, 20 some points a game, but I don't see it right now. And I think the NBA is going to be in trouble, but just because of that. Once again, I said at the beginning, the parity of seeing so many teams not depending on one superstar to win you a game, that can sell, but people always love to have a story. And I don't know if there's someone right now that everyone can go around and say, boom, I want to see how his story ends. And that may be an issue with the NBA.
Yeah. I don't think it will be because, like I said, it'll move into like this My Guy era where instead of ESPN every week running post about like who's better, LeBron or Jordan, or is LeBron the greatest of all time? Okay, Dad, we don't have to talk about James Harden. I think like you could throw up now, like who would you rather start a franchise with, SGA or Halliburton, and get people to go back and forth like they would on like a LeBron hate post? Or like, is SGA an actual superstar, and people coming up with their different criteria about what makes a superstar and what doesn't. I think it's kind of like Marvel movies where it was like everybody had their run at having an individually led movie or whatever. But by the end, all we wanted was Avengers. We just wanted to see as many of these people as we could in a singular movie. Like, even by the time you get to like Captain America 2 with like Civil War, no, that was 3. There's like everybody's still in the movie, right? And so I think that that's what how younger fans consume things now. I think they are less willing to hold people up as a pedestal. They're less interested in who's the singular dominant person. I think that younger generations, younger than us, are more in that, like, I want to see a collection of talent. I want to see an Avengers. I want to see a variety of people and talents and teams and those sorts of things. I don't think that they see it the way that old heads did, where their basketball was by people not leaving teams, people staying with the same team for forever, having like 1 or 2 big names around which all the marketing went. And I just don't think that like younger generations are into that. So, but if we are concerned, an idea that I have is that if what we're saying, or what we posit as a thesis, is that LeBron is good for the growth of the NBA and the NBA remaining top of people's like sports consciousness, whether you're tuning in because you love him or whether you're tuning in because you're rooting against him, then I think what we should do is that once LeBron retires, we let Caitlin Clark join the NBA. Then she can take over that role.
Oh God, here you go.
So that's how we solve the LeBron problem.
There we go. We done. That's it.
Solve.
And with that, everyone, that is our show for the evening.
Right. Clip that, put it on TikTok.
All right. So you talked about the Pacers. So I want to go ahead and transition to this. Because you said that you want to see them more next season. With that being said, because of some recent moves, or definitely one move that comes up to my mind, has the championship window already closed for the Pacers? Because think about this. Number one, of course, Halliburton probably will not play next year. If he does, it won't be until later on in possibly April or in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And you don't know how they're going to go without him all year long. But the second biggest factor is losing out on someone. Do I have his picture? No, I don't. But yeah, Miles Turner. He recently signed with the Bucks, and that was a huge loss. A huge loss to the Pacers. He's been their guy, the longest tenured Pacer for over 10 years. Mm-hmm. Finally got to the finals and had his experience. And I think in his mind, he was like, man, I had my best shot. And Halliburton got hurt. And it's not guaranteed that we're gonna come back. My chances are gonna be better if I played with someone like Giannis. And cause their team, I know Lillard ain't coming back anymore, but they still are stacked. And you have Giannis, who's a bigger draw, better player than Halliburton, which makes Miles Turner's game even better and easier for him to score buckets because you're gonna have so many guys facing off or trying to stop Giannis. So with that being said, do you feel the window has already closed for the Pacers?
A couple of things. One, I don't think Turner will get more run playing with the Bucks than he did in Indiana. Because Giannis also plays a lot underneath the basket. And so, yeah, I don't think it'll be like, oh, he'll get so many more like open shots because everybody's going to double Giannis. I think the Pacers spacing actually creates more open shots for their respective players and the way that they move the ball. And so I don't think that, that he'll be better or have more of a chance. The other thing that's upsetting about that is I would have loved to have seen him stay with the Pacers. I think he's a good piece for them, but it was over $3 million. So he wanted 25, they offered 22 and he left. And I'm like, that is pocket change for whoever owns this team. If y'all don't come up with a way to give him a $3 million Visa card off the books.
Right.
So that y'all could keep him. Like, that just seemed petty. I think the other thing in terms of like what we were talking about with like the LeBron and that whole era ending is I don't think there's going to be such thing as a championship window anymore. I think with the parity that's coming in the league, you'll see teams be at the top 1 year, maybe down for 2 years, and then back in contention again. I think this old idea of like, we have this collection of players with which we will have a certain amount of time, and therefore that creates like a window for potentially winning. I don't think that exists anymore. With the way contracts are set up, with the way players are moving, with the talent level, I just think I think every year it will feel like we'll go into it not penciling in the Chiefs in the Super Bowl like we do for the NFL. I think we'll go in every year. I think it's a fan's dream that every year this could be the year your team does something, and it could come out of nowhere. And so I just think this idea of like a championship window is going away with the like setup of like a one superstar LeBron type figure.
And just to add on to what you were saying about the parity, once again, as the Pacers got so far in going to the finals because of the parity, teams like Orlando Magic, yes, T-Bone, if you're watching, I said the Orlando Magic, they can not say easily, but they can beat the Pacers of last season and go to the finals. You saw the move that they're making in free agency and trades and the whole nine. Or look at the Detroit Pistons. So you have a lot of teams that weren't even a thought a couple years ago, but right now they're getting their feet wet. They're getting that experience. The youth is starting to come together. They're signing certain guys. They're on their way. So to me, the Pacers did have their best shot. Unfortunately, Halliburton got hurt. And I cannot see them going back to the finals. Not even, maybe the playoffs. But definitely not close to where they were this past year because of Halliburton and now losing Miles Turner. It was a huge blow to the Pacers. But this gives the opportunity for other teams. I'm still on the fence because I know you brought him up last week. One of y'all did about Mike Brown going to the Knicks, Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, Uh, oh my God, what is his name? The dude from Jordan Clarkson. I like that signing of him going to the Knicks. He's a scorer. You know, he's a baller. You know, he. I think he's the perfect like New York Knick to me that can back up Jalen Brunson. However, I do feel the Knicks are still missing that one piece. Yes, Jalen Brunson is amazing, especially in the clutch. Carl Anthony Towns. I can't think of what my wife calls him right now, but amazing talent. But I do feel that they're still that one player away. But as you see in the playoffs, and I believe Bunny said this last week on Ladies' Night, that a team can be one injury away from going on to the finals. So
I think, to me, what's exciting is that every team feels like they're missing a piece.
yeah,
I even think like OKC is missing a piece, and they won. It feels like the Knicks are one piece away. It feels like if Orlando had that one piece, maybe they could have taken the series further with the Knicks. It feels like the Pistons are one piece away. It feels like the Warriors are one piece away. It feels like Minnesota, who's going to back-to-back Western Conference Finals, like maybe they're one piece away. And I think that that's what's exciting about watching the league now, is that everybody feels one piece away, and therefore you don't come into it being like, regardless of what happens over these next 8 months, we will see the Warriors and the Cavs in the final.
speaking of the Cavs, they recently traded for Lonzo Ball. I look forward to seeing what he's going to bring to Cleveland. Hopefully, he stays healthy. That's the main thing.
That is
But
amazing. Him and his brother. Talk about overworking. As much as LeVar Ball like did with them, he may be the cause of their repetitive injuries, because him and what's his name, the youngest one,
LaMelo.
LaMelo, can't stay healthy for a full season. So
Shouts out to one of the dopest DJs, my fellow Beat District Radio family member, DJ Fat Mac. He's in the building. Salute to you, my brother. Appreciate you showing love, man, on the Platform Sports Talk Show.
let's get caught up on some of the comments. I see them come by, but then I'm like mid-sentence, and my ADHD won't allow me to entertain it. Otherwise, I'll completely scroll this whole episode and won't talk about anything. But I want to go back to some of the comments. What was the people saying again? We told the people to comment, and then we didn't read them.
Let's see. Let me see. So guys said viewership is at an all-time high right now with a lot of parity. That's not LeBron bringing in viewers. The league will continue to do well. Miss Dub said, thing is Curry, who is LeBron's foil, is also getting older. Correct? Because people don't even realize it, but Curry, I can easily see him retiring the next 2 years as well.
Mm-hmm.
Easy see
I would
that.
love to see in 2 years him and LeBron both do like a farewell tour.
She thought that Lisa Leslie could give a lot of NBA players some run for their money.
Probably. I think the WNBA player who probably had the best chance against NBA players would have been Cheryl Miller. But Lisa Leslie's not a bad bet.
Your dad, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially with gambling being a big part of the game. People would choose players more than teams. Then guys said that the Pacers overachieve every year and still get doubted the following year. But this next season is different because you don't have Halliburton. And this is the thing with
the rise of TJ McConnell.
Your boy. But I can speak from personal experience because for those who don't know, 2 years ago, back on July the 4th, I suffered a ruptured patella tendon and my knee hasn't been the same. Like you could tell it's a difference. And with Tyrese Halliburton's game, as you brought up on maybe Ladies' Night, about what he brought to the team. Yes, he can score, but he was a facilitator. He had, as Guy brought up earlier in regards to making certain moves, certain cuts, he has to find that confidence. Same thing with Jason Tatum and Dame Lillard. those injuries are different than having a broken leg. A tendon is, some can say, is far worse than a broken leg. So the mindset, that mentality, will you be the same when you get back on that court? Will you have the same explosiveness, the same moves that you used to just go past people? You may not be able to do the same thing like you used to after you have torn a tendon. That could affect Tyrese Halliburton's game. And if it affects his game, that's going to affect the team in general. So in the past, you say overachieve, and then they shut the doubters off. That's one thing. But now you don't have Miles Turner and you don't have Halliburton. This could be the season where you say, I can't see now, if they do it, shouts out to them. Something amazing happened. Someone else has stepped up out of nowhere and finally got their limelight or spotlight, and boom, there they go. But without having Halliburton, 82 games of the season, that's gonna be a challenge. DJ Fat Mac says, let's see. Oh, the Ball family ball too much. I definitely agree in regards to the Ball family. Your mom says Tatum hasn't been the same since his injury. Now, maybe she's referring to another injury prior to what happened this past playoff. So from that, the wrist injury, that's what he had. So you have the wrist injury and now the tendon injury. My God, like that's really going to rain on you mentally. Like when I wake up from out the bed, when my first couple of steps, like I can tell even after 2 years that my knee feels different. It's like I can feel the tissue. It feels like I'm wearing a knee brace when I'm not even wearing a knee brace. Like that's how it feels. So it's really going to mess with people's mentality. Whoever had these injuries, it's going to really mess with them. And now, granted, Tatum, Lillard, Halliburton, they ain't 40-something years old like I am, so maybe they can recover faster, but it's really going to be different. And I hope that it doesn't hurt their careers as they keep on going up. Now, I know Dame has been in the league for a while, so he's getting down to his later years, but Halliburton and Tatum, they still in their 20s. You know what I'm saying? So it's very mental than physical. And will their games be affected by their injuries and then being gone from the game for probably at least a year? Like my injury, I wasn't fully recovered till a whole year later. So it's really this the mental part that's going to really kick in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think it's the mental part for the teams as well, because I don't think that there's a such thing as a championship window anymore. And I think if teams take that same perspective or recognize that same thing, then you will let him take as much rest as he needs, knowing that we could be down 1 year, up the next, right? And so let's give him the full time he needs to heal. Let's not rush him back. I know for me, so I tore my ACL and my MCL the first year I played football, right before the season started. I tore it out of practice like 2 weeks before the season started when I played in 2009 for the Pittsburgh Passion. And then I didn't play football again until 2016 with the Slam. And so I guess like practices and tryouts started in 2015 of that year. And so initially that first year, like I admit I played very timid, and I played for like the first part of the year. I played very timid, played very tentative. My knee to this day, like, and that was now 16 years ago. Like, it's not like my left knee is. So I tore my right knee, my ACL, MCL. It's not like my left knee. It never will be. But I played timid, and I took something off my game. at the start of that 2016 season. And at some point, I just had to be like, if he dies, he dies, right? Like, if it tears, it tears. But I'm not here to play like poor football. So I either play well and take my chances or go as long as this knee will let me, or I quit playing because I'm not really serving anybody by like naturally, like willingly taking away from my game already than perhaps playing with like a never fully healed knee would take away from the game. And so I think players just have to have that mindset to some extent is one, allow myself to heal fully, not rushing myself back. And then when it's as good as it's going to get, like I can't have it in my head that I'm going to protect this thing at all cost and take something off my game as a result. Because you'll find yourself out of the league quickly. You really, I mean, that's kind of like, I think everybody who plays sports at a high level has to have some degree of like maniac in them to just be like, well, if it tears, it tears. At least I'll go out in glory, right? And I think that that's how you have to play at some point is like, I can't play scared. It hurts your game more. And so just being like, well, I'm just going to rock it till the wheels fall off. And so, but I do think of the 4 major people who had torn Achilles tendons in the playoffs this season. I think that Halliburton's game and age lends it to him coming back better than the other 3 guys who went out in the playoffs with Achilles tear.
And I want to bring up this from Miss Dub. With new technologies and therapy, can he fully recover? This is what I'm going to say from my experience is that, yes, you will go through physical therapy. Machines can tell your body, okay, you're good, you're much better, but it can't control your mind. Machines cannot control your mental. So that's going to be the biggest battle. Is yes, the machines may say, or your workouts may say, okay, yes, your knee is much improved. May not be 100%, may not never be 100% no more. Like I was told before my surgery, or maybe after my surgery, that my left knee won't bend 100 and let's say 25 degrees like it used to. It may bend 100 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge difference still. You know what I'm saying? So if the machines can't control your mental.
Yeah.
So that's all I can say. And then your mom said over time, arthritis becomes a continuous issue that doesn't go away with these type of injuries. Mm-hmm. So like I said, I just look forward to seeing when they do come back, how the game's going to be. And going back to like the championship window with the Pacers, like we seen what's going on with the Celtics. They traded away Drew Holiday. They traded away Porzingis. You know, now you're not going to have Tatum for a majority of the year, if at all. Maybe their window has closed because I had them win the championship again this past season. But then Tatum got hurt. And then that just changed everything. So we're going to see, but it's going to bring more great parity, which is needed. But going back to our last topic in regards to is the NBA in position to move on with LeBron and have that one person that everyone can just be like, whether you are supporting or not, that may be an issue. But I do want to bring this up right here. Speaking of LeBron, it was announced recently that the NBA Summer League, yes, the NBA Summer League game between the Mavericks and the Lakers, which will have a number 1 pick, Cooper Flag, and LeBron James' son, Bronny. Most expensive Summer League ticket of all time. $2,500. That's for floor seats. They said seats above the floor seats are like $200 to $500 some dollars. That is for a summer league game. So going back to the future, this can be the future. This could be that storyline. But we shall see. We shall see. But if you're seeing this for summer league games where nothing really is important, but you're just watching the players develop, that's a sign. But we shall see. But to see of all time, that's crazy. Where you've had so many draft classes that have had great players do their thing in summer league, but now people are paying $2,500 to see a exhibition game. That's crazy right there.
I think Cooper Flag is going to be the Caitlin Clark of the NBA.
Oh, there we go.
And I think that's why that ticket is so expensive. And I mean, make your money. I ain't got no problem. I mean, I ain't got it to spend to watch them, but for the people who do, happy for you. I also think a lot of ticket prices are inflated when we think about like the most expensive ticket of all time and the most expensive like Super Bowl ticket of all time and those sorts of things, because it's so hard to get a ticket in a primary market for anything now. Like, I think I mentioned a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, 2 weeks ago, when, you know, I took my brother and my sister to a WNBA game, and you couldn't buy any tickets in the primary market. You had to go to a StubHub or whatever, like a secondary market, and those prices get inflated because they're mostly bought by like bots and people who have time to, who make their money by waiting for things to open up the minute they're done, buy up a bunch of stuff, and then hit the resale market. And so I just don't think that those prices are honest. Like with the way that ticketing is done now, where you can rarely get something from a primary source, it's mostly all done in the secondary market to inflated prices. I think we'll continue to see like this is the most expensive ticket ever, but I don't think that that's what that ticket originally cost. But.
Right. And like you said, it's someone who bought the ticket for maybe $200 and realize who's playing. So let's bump it up to $2,500 and let me get paid. So that's definitely I can definitely see that.
And the question is, will that actually sell for that? Right? It's priced at $2,500 now. I bet if the day before the game, no one has bought that ticket, it'll drop.
Right. All right, so that was our basketball talk. Great conversations. Thank you for tuning in so far. Leaving comments. Continue to bring them in. Let's talk about some baseball. We are nearing All-Star break. Which means that talking about her Pirates. Talk about that too. But All-Star break is coming up. This Sunday is the last game of the first half of the season, of the official first half of the season, and we have the All-Star break. So I want to go ahead and talk about the All-Star roster. Shouts out to JoBo. You know, this is her thing for baseball. So I got to hold her down while she's holding down her new addition, Clark. Shouts out to Clark. Her new addition just had it almost a month ago. But for the American League, you have Cal Raleigh, who is a few homers away from having the most home runs ever before All-Star break. He's about maybe 5 or 4 home runs away from breaking Barry Bonds' record. And you know, Barry Bonds had like 72, 75 home runs, whatever it was. He's doing this thing for the Mariners. Ryan O'Hearn from the Orioles, Vladimir Guerrero from the Blue Jays at first. Second base, Gleyber Torres. Third base, Jose Ramirez. Shortstop, Jacob Wilson. Outfield for the American League, Aaron Judge from the Yankees, Riley Green from the Detroit Tigers, and Javier Baez from the Tigers. This Javier Baez is an amazing story because he was a shortstop for the world champion Chicago Cubs. But the biggest issue that he had was his plate discipline. He always was striking out. He has he did the nine. What's his name from the Giants now? Golly, to Rafael Devers, where Rafael Devers didn't want to change positions. Javier Baez was a shortstop. Now he's a center fielder for the best team in baseball, fans. The best team in baseball, the Detroit Tigers. He's the center fielder, and he's now an all-star starter in the outfield. So shouts out to him. I always love to see a great story because I always say since day one, progress is sexy. National League starters from the Dodgers, catcher Will Smith, not that Will Smith, the other one. Shohei Ohtani, DH. Freddie Freeman, first base from the Diamondbacks. Ketel Marte, playing second base. Third base, Manny Machado from the Padres. Shortstop, Francisco Lindor from the Mets. Outfield, Pete Crow Armstrong from the Cubs. Kyle Tucker from the Cubs. And last but not least, playing at the hometown stadium in Atlanta, Ronald Acuna Jr. Then for those wondering, well, what about the pitchers and the reserves? I got y'all. That's what I do. For the pitchers, you see on the screen, Annie's boy, Paul
shining star.
Now, the reason why I show this, Annie, because you said this in the past show, that the Pirates are known for having great players, but then what happened to them?
We give them away for corn nuts and a diet Sprite.
So, sources are saying, Annie, and if Joe was watching, that the Chicago Cubs, they are first in the Central right now. We just got reminded, the Cardinals got reminded of that this past weekend. They are leading the way, and they will do anything they can to keep that spot. Sources are saying that the Cubs may go all in and try to trade for your boy, Paul Skeens.
I've got advice for them. You don't need to go all in. You could offer them $10 and they'll give you Paul Skeens. You don't need to go all in. Whatever you think you need to put on the table, half it, and then half that. And then you will have what the Pirates are willing to accept for Paul Skeens. And then we'll see him again in like 10 years when he's ready to retire. He'll come back and do his farewell tour in Pittsburgh, just like everybody else. But I'm surprised he lasted this long on the Pirates, to be honest. I consider this year his farewell tour in Pittsburgh. We do not keep people. We are not interested in fielding a competitive team. We just want to show y'all our pretty ballpark on the rivers and the amazing shots that you get from inside the stadium.
Now, that's something that I do want to highlight that people are saying around the league or whatever that the two best stadiums to watch a game, one, Pittsburgh, two, San Francisco. They say those two stadiums are breathtaking. Like there's not one bad seat. It's just an amazing view to watch games at those stadiums. Once again, Pittsburgh and San Fran.
Can attest, which is why they have no interest in fielding a good team. They sell tons of black and yellow stuff, and they have the best view in baseball, and that's all they care about. They don't care about actually having a good team. So farewell, Paul Skeens. It's been nice to know you. I don't know if Livy Dunn actually moved to Pittsburgh to be with him, but if she did, I hope she has fun in her new city as well. And yeah, he's no pirate is long for this world. So we don't get attached.
And I want to give a shout out to locally to Brendan Donovan. He's a reserve from the Cardinals, second base / outfielder. He's a all utility guy, but his first All-Star nod. So shouts out to him. And then for the American League, we have what is his name? Tariq Skubal He was the AL Cy Young winner from last year for the Detroit Tigers. So he's making his All Star appearance, and then you have the reserves as well. So All Star game goes down next Tuesday. The home run derby is next Monday. Look forward to it. I've been saying this for the last couple of years that I believe the Major League Baseball All Star game is the best All Star game out of all us the Major League sports. You cannot, as a pitcher, you can't just lollygag a ball up to the plate. You know what I'm saying? You can't play it, you can't treat it like softball. You actually have to pitch. Now, some people may say, oh, well, the scores aren't always high at time, whatever it is. Well, that's because you have major league pitchers. They are actually competing. They're not just throwing whatever down the plate and say, oh, see if you can hit this, whatever. No, they want to get you out, and that's what they're doing. So out of all the major league sports, I've always said this. Now, WNBA basketball is getting there now. Like it's right there. like here's Major League Baseball, here's WNBA. It's like here we come. But right now, Major League Baseball is killing it in regards to the festivities and, of course, the All-Star game, because everyone is competing. You can't just be at the plate like, oh, I'm just do with it. No, you have to actually swing. So, and Miss Dub says low score equals good defense. So there we go. So that's with the baseball. I also want to bring this up. I have the standings because we get to that point. The Toronto Blue Jays are leading the American League East. They are 3 games up at this time. The AL Central, once again, the Detroit Tigers are 14 games ahead of the Kansas City Royals. Detroit Tigers are by far the best team in the American League, as I said before. In the AL West, Joe Bo's Houston Astros are holding things down with a 6.5 game lead. In the NL East, the Phillies are up just a half a game over the Mets. Right now, the Cubs are 2 games over the Brewers. The Cardinals are 5.5 games out. And in the NL West, the Dodgers are 5 games over the Padres. Wild card, because that does matter. In the AL, the Yankees and the Rays are leading the way. Well, excuse me, Yankees, Rays, and Mariners. Mariners have a 1 game lead over the Red Sox. In the NL, the Mets, Brewers, and Giants hold things down for the NL wild card with a half a game lead over the Padres, and the Cardinals are 1 game behind. So that's MLB. Did you have any other takeaways from Major League Baseball, Annie, at this time?
So I'm going to my family reunion in Detroit next week, and we were told to wear a shirt of our hometown baseball team. So my Detroit family, and now that I'm seeing these standings, I think that's where that came from, because that was not the plan before today. And so I think the Detroit fans will be walking around with Detroit Tiger shirt, not only in Detroit, but also knowing that they're good. And then they want the Pittsburgh family to be walking around Detroit in Pirates gear. And I might buy a Detroit Tiger shirt, because y'all ain't gonna have me looking like a fool. So, or maybe I'll do like moms who have sons who play for different teams and like cut 2 shirts up the middle, sew them together. So half of mine is Detroit Tigers, half of mine is Pirates. But yeah, it's not a good day to be wearing a Pirate shirt. But I picked them. Well, they picked me. Well, actually, my parents picked them for me by giving birth to me in Pittsburgh. And so they'll always be my team, but it's sad.
And I have to disagree with Guy with this comment. He says baseball isn't high effort anyway. So there's a little difference visually in an exhibition. I 1000% disagree, because there's so much skill that goes into, as a pitcher, trying to fool a hitter and get swing and miss. It's high effort trying to throw 90 Anything over 50 miles per hour is high effort. And then as a batter, trying to make contact with a ball that's moving all around your face is very high effort. It takes effort to be productive in baseball.
But
I
it's
know.
just two positions. Baseball's so boring. You're basically watching other people watch one player per team do something.
Mm.
It's ball strikes and home runs. I mean, there's no like inside game that's taking place. There's no real strategy that's involved. It's a bunch of people standing around watching to see if their pitcher will strike the guy out or if the guy will hit a home run. And so, who was the guy who was leading the league for 2 years in a row in like stolen bases? What's his name?
I'm trying to
He's
think.
from somewhere in the Caribbean. Just tall, lanky. Like
Oh
those were the
God,
only clips I watched because there was something happening other than someone pitching and someone hitting.
you talking about Ellie De La Cruz?
Yes, yes. He was
And
the most
it's that
entertaining
effort, and
profile.
that's effort,
Yes,
and,
so he's
and
the only one.
speed is a skill,
He's the only
guy.
one.
So that is effort.
He's the only one. Everybody else just pitchers and hitters.
And you said that there's no strategy. No, there's plenty of strategy because you have to determine where a person can hit the ball compared to where a pitcher places a ball. It's so much strategy in baseball. It just not maybe looked at as big like in football or in basketball, but there is so much strategy behind every pitch that's going on in baseball. Positioning the players right, positioning this guy, positioning how you hitting the ball. Because if you swing ahead of the ball, you might pull it itself or trying to hit it straight away, or the way that you are making contact to the bat. It's so much skill and a high energy to be productive that people don't really realize what it takes to be productive in baseball.
For two
And
people to be productive, because everybody else is literally just standing in their spot waiting
yeah,
for something to happen.
yeah, but they're standing in a spot that they have been told, hey, this guy is more likely to hit it over here than over there. So you're told to stand over here or over there because of strategy. So there's so much behind the game of baseball.
First base is still going to stand near first base. Second base is still going to stand near second base. Third base is going to stand near third base. Shortstop is going to stand between second base and third base. They're standing in the same places.
Miss Dove says, who was the Cardinal player who was the king of stolen bases back in the day, that is 70s and 80s? The only person I could think of, but he more so played whether it was late 80s and 90s, was Vince Coleman. But before then, you had Lou Brock. So maybe she's talking about Lou Brock. But yes, he was a king. And it was a skill that he had to learn how each pitcher how they would wind up or go off the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And once he mastered that, he was able to determine in time, okay, he does this, boom, I'm gone. So it's always strategy. It's always
That's just one. We named one person who sometimes did something.
well, no, she asked, so I brought up the person.
I know, but everybody who we're talking about stealing bases, it's not like everybody, it's not like hockey where every hockey team has like an enforcer. It's not like every baseball team has a base stealer or something where there's somebody else to watch. There's just nothing happening in baseball.
And that's the beauty of the game, is that not everyone can do the same. Like not everyone can be like Ellie De La Cruz, because you have opponents who have a catcher who can gun you out. Oh, like Yadi or Molina. Oh yeah, try to run on Yadi. No matter who you are, he'll probably get you out. That's part of the game.
I'm just saying this. I have attended NFL games with people I've been dating and been fine. I have attended NBA games with people I have dated and been fine. I had a relationship end over a Cardinals game. So baseball is boring, and it ended a relationship. because it's
That
so
says a
boring.
lot about the person that you were dating who couldn't bring out the best in you. So that's that person's fault, not baseball.
It was baseball's fault. It was so boring. It was he had like a box with his company.
Mm.
And so it was like, come play trophy wife. Cool, I'm cute. I can do that. But then when it came time to actually watch baseball, it was like, this is boring. And once Annie gets bored, Annie gets an incurable attitude. And
And
once an
and
incurable attitude,
I can see that because like my wife, she would say like she enjoys going to the games, but what stands out with watching a basketball game and watching a football game, especially like going to the Battlehawks or recently going to WNBA, was that there's always music being played. Baseball, the music you hear will be in between innings or dun 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 dun. You know, it's not like a DJ playing throughout the whole game, which she's wanting, but that's why they call it.
I need Red Panda to like roll out on a baseball field and flip some bowls during the 7 inning stretch or in between pitches, because even with a pitch clock, it still takes too long. So yeah, I need something else to happen with baseball. It is incurably boring and it ended a relationship. And I have attended other sports and with people I was dating, and we left still a couple. So
Softball, your
relationship.
mom says softball is more exciting than baseball because
And she used to ump. So she's saying from the perspective of an umpire. My mom used to ump. And she used to referee basketball too.
But there's a more chance for action in softball because it's softball and you're throwing underhanded.
And so there's not as many like home runs. The ball stays in play. And so more people get to do things. That's why it's more exciting.
God says it's the only major sport people attend where the game is secondary to what's going on. I mean, it is an acquired taste. For those who don't have that taste, sorry for you. But I enjoy it.
Like escargot. Like you can say it's an acquired taste, but we all know it's nasty.
No.
No, it's not good. It's just that you got to be real special to like it.
It's
an acquired taste. Escargot is an acquired taste.
If you don't have it, you know what I'm saying? Like people like me who, you know what I'm saying, I would go to a game. If I had the opportunity to get season tickets, I would do that because I just love the game of baseball. It's like all right, how do you feel about golf?
It's boring.
There we go. Because it's the same thing.
Yes,
it's usually a quiet, peaceful game until there's more, you know what I'm saying, stuff going on. Where I could tell you want instant, always action going. Yeah. So all right, so speaking of which, he been to a hockey game.
Of course. Love hockey in person.
There we go. Because it's always so like I said, it's an acquired taste. You know what I'm saying?
Acquired taste. Escargot is an acquired taste. You're like, do you like sports? We got a sport where everybody stands around. Like what? No one comes to sports to watch people stand around. And that's what baseball is. And I don't think golf is a sport, but that's neither here nor there.
And yes, because and I did play softball, play in the softball league. So yes, softballs can be underhanded depending on what league that you play in, especially women's softball. Like my goodness,
pitchers like yeah, 80 at least.
Yeah. So, but there's still likely a better chance of hitting a softball at 90 miles per hour than it is a Major League Baseball. That's why the game is how it is. But
more exciting.
Ms. Dove says, I like soccer, even with the low scoring, because the strategy and interaction of the teams is interesting.
And soccer in person is amazing to watch.
And I haven't been to a CDSC game, but I definitely want to experience that because I know that it would be amazing just to see. And I just have so much respect for the athletes to do what they do because going back to even baseball, hitting the ball, it's not easy to place a soccer ball with your foot. That is crazy. to place it exactly where you want, that takes incredible skill.
Yeah.
So Ms.
I
Dub,
think nationally and internationally, soccer has the best fans. I think it's one of the best in-person experiences. There's like a whole culture around soccer fandom, and they're extremely welcoming. If you go, don't buy a seat. Go to the general admin section where people stay in the whole game.
Mm.
And there's usually some people who have season tickets. If you just get the word out that it's your first time there, someone will come teach you all the chants in advance. They'll like tell you, here's when we do this, here's when we do that, here's who we hate on the other team and all that other stuff. And you immediately get to jump in. So highly recommend seeing soccer in person.
Ms. Dub says, plus those guys are running the entire time they are on the pitch. They have amazing stamina. Right. I do have a question because you brought up fans standing up. Let's say you go to a game, you have great seats, lower bowl, action right in front of you, but and this like big butt, like Megan Thee Stallion and whoever else, but the fans in front of you stand up throughout the whole game and never sit down. How does it make you feel as a fan?
It depends on what the sport is. I've had people stand in front of me during football games, and it's just like, bro, sit down. Like, there's only 11 seconds of action at a time. There's no need to stand for an entire football game. They're not even standing the entire game. They're taking knees. They're sitting down. You can have a seat. The WNBA game I went to, like, I feel like a lot of basketball games, they have the tradition where you stand until the home team scores the first basket.
Right.
And then we stood like the entire like overtime, and it was fine because like everybody was standing, everybody was into it. It wasn't just like one butthole standing with a big like Curious George hat on.
Let me tell you, I went to a Battle Halls game a few months ago, I guess now, and literally it was one person that stood, and I'm with just my camera real quick. So the person was right in front of us. Now it didn't bother me, but it was bothering, whoever else was sitting. And like the person in front would like just stand there and just look over and not really be in tune to the game, but just was just standing there throughout the whole time, just doing play, doing breaks, and just stood there like this. And I could tell that the person that was sitting in the same row as my wife and I was getting frustrated because like, yo, sit your butt down so I can see the game. Now, those fans, okay, but the other fans were, like you said, they are literally like, oh, let's go. They in the game. Hey, I respect it because, hey, the team needs the push,
Yeah.
But the other
don't
fans,
stand on security duty. Go stand in the aisle where the steps are or something. Don't stand in front of people just on security. Like, nah, y'all too nice for me because I'd have been like, bro, man, I need you to
sit your down.
Right. Either have a seat or like, if you plan on standing the whole time, like I would recommend the steps over there or in front of this empty seat. But no, if we're not all standing, like if you got leg problems or you need blood circulation, you need to go take that to another area of the stadium. Like we cannot stand in front of me this entire time. Absolutely not.
All right, let's get into our last topic. Speaking of football, man, at the end of this month, you're going to have some preseason football. Training camps has been underway, doing a thing, and we're getting right into football season. Let's start off with college. What storylines, or is there a storyline that you're looking forward to in regards to college football as the season nears?
Yeah, so preseason football is about as exciting as a baseball game.
Hey, now.
I want to see how things are going to turn out with my team with Chapel Hill. Like so much of the offseason has been about Bill Belichick's personal
Oh
life
my God.
and
Yes.
Jordan and all that other stuff. Like I want to see like how this actually comes together on the field. Can we all just put that behind us and just go out and play? We dang near turned over the entire roster. We did amazing in the transfer portal. And so I want to see like, is this as good as advertised? Was the drama just the fodder of like being off season? Will he actually make it to game one? There's still an opportunity for him to
Right.
buy his contract for $1 million and decide, no, he'd rather play patty cake on the beach with his girlfriend than coach a basketball team. So that's what I'm ready for.
Yeah. I was going to bring him up because it's been a whole issue going on with Bill Belichick and his little sister, I mean his girl, his fiance, wife, whoever she is. And like you said, from this point on till the beginning of the season, he can actually be gone from the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, damn, that can really affect the program because y'all went all in for this. How old is he? 70-something years old?
Oh,
Which
yeah.
I was surprised first off that they did that. It's like, what's the point of you trying to hire? Yes, he has great credentials from the NFL, but even in the NFL, he ran his course because he's getting old. It's like Popovich. I've been saying for the longest time, as great of a coach as Greg Popovich, his time is up. And now, unfortunately, because of health issues, he has to step away. But like, what does Bill Belichick outside of the name really bring to your team? Like, the game has changed so much. Like, I can't see him being over NIL and transfer portal and whatever else. You know, that's the reason why the Nick Sabans are gone, because it ended their careers because they just couldn't keep up with the changing of the guard. And now you bring it. First, you had the previous coach, Mac Brown, and left. But then you bring in someone even older, I think, in Bill Belichick. Like, what the hell are y'all doing? Just because of the name.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen there. Another thing I look forward to seeing what's going to happen with Notre Dame and see how they bounce back from the national championship loss. It was a close game, but the head coach, Marcus, what's his last name? I'm bad with names tonight. I do apologize. I think it's Freeman or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman. Look forward to seeing what they're going to do. Of course, locally for me, Mizzou, they have brought in another incredible class of players. And my thing is for Mizzou is, can they get through a season without having that one game that if they would win, it could bring them to a higher level? They have had opportunities over the last 2 seasons to have that one victory that could have propelled them to a big bowl game or even a championship game.
Yeah.
And they messed it up. They was right there. And
I think it'll be.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it'll be easier now that they're moving away from conference champions getting automatic bids.
Right.
And so that opens it up for more SEC teams to have more playoff spots. So maybe they have a better chance now.
Ms. Dub says maybe the issue that the owners are all older and are looking backward, not forward, in regards to the whole Bill Belichick thing. Now, I'm going to hold off, Ms. Dub, on your NFL thing until we get to the NFL. But yeah, going back to Mizzou, lost a key piece in regards to Luther Burden, but they have more guys that they're bringing in, a new quarterback. So I look forward to seeing. That's just been their biggest issue, is that they come into a game undefeated, and it's like, oh, well, they're the real deal. But then they have that one game where if they win, it wakes up the whole world like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
here come a zoo. But then what happened? They end up getting blown out. And then
Mm-hmm.
like it changes the whole rest of the season. Can they get over the hump? That's the question that I hope that we have a great answer to this year, because it's out there, especially with this new playoff format. It's
Mm-hmm.
the chance is there. Like they were one win away, I believe, from being in the college football playoff, and then they just didn't do it.
Are you
Can
saying they're going to miss their? Are you saying their championship window is closing? Is that what you're saying?
It depends on if their star player has a torn Achilles tendon now. But
Are
yeah,
they playing low top cleats or high top cleats this year?
you know what? Great question. I would say because now in football, I've seen a lot of interior linemen wearing the high top cleats while
Mm-hmm.
everyone else is wearing the lows. So football is a little bit different. They're a little bit different than basketball in
Mm-hmm.
regards to that. But also, you don't have the AAUs in football like you do in basketball either. And then, like you said before, less games.
Mm-hmm.
So less wear and tear compared to basketball. But yeah, like I said, and then something else I want to bring up. Of course, Colorado Buffaloes. No more Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
No more Shador. No more Shiloh.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see how Dion is going to handle this team without having his boys on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a great storyline for this upcoming season. They got to a bowl game last year. Yeah, they stunk, probably because they wasn't really into it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see what happens. And of course, you have Prime's health has been an issue too recently. But
Mm-hmm.
let's just see what's going to happen with the Buffaloes this upcoming season. Let me see. Oh, Miss Dove said low top versus high top may depend on whether you need agility or strength. And that's why I brought up the linemen. Because with the linemen, you don't see a lineman wearing low tops. They're always wearing highs because of their high top, because they're in the trenches more than anyone else. And I think you see more so wide receivers wearing low tops than mids and highs as well. That's something I know, and cornerbacks as well, because I guess they just want to be more free in regards to their footwear, kind of like in track. You don't see no one wearing I'm about to say high heels, high tops or mids in track. They're all wearing low because they want to be faster. So
Mm-hmm.
it depends on the sport and what's
Yeah, not as many ACL tears, so it's not the shoes.
there you go.
I do think that Notre Dame is interesting. They're basically NFL junior. I think this is the highest college roster with sons of former NFL players so far. Almost everybody on their team now. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but a good percentage of their team has a last name you've heard of before because their dad played. And so it'll be interesting to see that particular collection of talent and kind of answer some of this nature versus nurture discussion about like, can you just breed an athlete? So yeah.
See, Ms. Dub, I would love to see.
I could probably I can't now because I haven't worn heels in so long, but there was definitely a time in my life where I probably ran faster in heels than I did in cleats.
I think my wife could do that too. She could probably work out in some high heels.
Absolutely. It's better for squatting. I've definitely squatted in heels because instead of you see like men stand on like those put down plates and put their heels up on the plates. They already make shoes for that. You don't even actually need to do that. So you can just throw on some wifey shoes.
There we go. Wifey, put on some heels. And so when you're doing your lunges, your squats, the whole nine, thank me later. There we go. We solved that. Now, let's get into the NFL. And I had to go ahead and use this like I did for the promo. I had to use this photo right here. Let me pull it back up. There we go. There we go. Let me
Them
pull.
your other friends. I'm a Cowboys fan, so mom, dad, that picture is for you in terms of the Steelers and
Let
that
me
hot
pull.
mess of a situation. I'm in an interesting spot where I need to root for the Steelers to be the dumpster fire that they are as a team, but still have Mike Tomlin keep his winning season streak alive.
Mm.
So I'm trying to figure out how to balance that
And
because I love Mike Tomlin.
now this ain't a hot take, like, because I feel like with Aaron Rodgers being in this organization, the Steelers organization is different than being with the Jets. Let's just keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
They have a different level of how they run things, and especially with Mike Tomlin being the head coach as well, I can really see the Steelers surprising some people next season with Aaron Rodgers. I can see it happening. And your mom says, don't start.
I'm starting. I'm starting and finishing. It's going to be a dumpster fire. They made terrible offseason moves. Their team is going to be trash. Aaron Rodgers is almost as old as I am. He should not be playing football. He's no Tom Brady. And they will rue the day that they got rid, one, that they let Ben play for as long as he did. And then two, they will rue the day that they got rid of Justin Fields. He could have been fine for them, and he could have.
Jets.
Yeah. So when the Jets have a better record than the Steelers because Justin Fields is with them and they are stuck with old man Rodgers, I will be laughing to deflect whatever dumpster fire the Cowboys are going to be this year.
So, let's speak on that. So, you feel that the Cowboys, they're going to be another dumpster fire this upcoming season as well?
Of course, always in perpetuity.
So, one of the topics for the man cave was what team or teams will shock the world this upcoming season. T-Bone brought up a team that at first he was kind of playing, but then he was like, well, you know what? I may go with them. And he brought up the Carolina Panthers. Is there a team out there that you feel maybe did not have any success last year that can shock the world and have people like, whoa, I didn't see this coming, and now look at them?
I mean, I just want to say Jacksonville because I'm one of Travis Hunter's internet aunties and I love him and I want all the success for him. But I don't actually believe that because I believe that Trevor Lawrence is overrated. Not really. I feel like in football, it's more of the usual suspects. I feel like if a team is going to come on, you start to see that. I think the biggest surprise last year was probably Washington. I think they'll be good again this year, but it won't be a surprise. The Steelers are not going to re-sign TJ Watt, Mom. Like, give it up. He can come be a Cowboy. We would love to have him. No, I don't think there's any team that's like. I think the Raiders are going to be better.
I can see that.
Than people expect. So I don't know that they're like going to take the NFL by storm, but I don't think they're trash. I think Genty there. You got Brock Bowers, who was good. You've gotten rid of some of the dead weight. You've got a competent quarterback in Geno Smith. You've got a competent coach who, although he got ran out of the league last time, went back to college and coach said he learned some things. So this being his second shot at an NFL team, I think he'll be in a better position. So I would say maybe the Raiders are going to have a better season than people think.
I like that. Yep, I like that choice. You brought up the Commanders. I definitely see them back being better than what they were last year.
Mhm.
I'm interested to see what Debo Samuel is going to bring for that team, if he's going to be elusive at all.
For Pittsburgh?
No, he was.
Oh, not Debo. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Metcalf. Okay. Yes. Debo for that. Yeah.
I want to say the Chicago Bears. New coach Ben Johnson. He second year Caleb Williams, Luther Burden from Mizzou going to be on that squad. I can see Ben Johnson.
Do we know if the Bears are even talking to Caleb Williams after this Wickersham book came out?
Oh man,
You out in the locker room, like I don't.
that was pre Ben Johnson. All that has changed. So, but no, I can see it happening though. Second year, and he was, even when he got sacked, I think the most times out of any QB last year, or definitely on the top, he was still very productive and wasn't doing a lot of interceptions. So now he has a better system from Ben Johnson, one of the brightest minds in regards to offensive coaches. That could be a perfect situation, perfect marriage for Caleb Williams. And now once again, you add in guys like Luther Burden and just bringing the whole new system. The Chicago Bears can come around and shock the world. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do in Chicago, because the fans, they've been waiting. It's like going back to Justin Fields. They thought that he'll be the guy. Then it didn't work out. He moved on, but they got their franchise player. But I look forward to seeing what Ben Johnson, formerly he was the offensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions, and you saw what he's done to the Lions. And with that's another story too. Storyline is now that Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator. Now he's the head coach of the Jets. How will the Detroit Lions be? Because they kind of remind me of the Pacers. They had their best opportunity this past year to go far and possibly win the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And now, after the loss that the Lions had, and now losing both their coordinators, will that team be the same? So I look forward to seeing how they will be in the NFL next year. So football is right around the corner. EA Sports College Football 26 just came out. Madden comes out very soon. So football is here. And then last but not least, we have to bring up, because you brought it up in the past show, that this Saturday, the St. Louis Slam have a big important game at St. Mary's High School. So for those in the St. Louis area, whoever's watching, go check them out. What time, Annie?
I think it's 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. Central.
There we go. So unfortunately, I'll be out of town. If not,
Williams is going.
Who?
Miss Williams.
There we go. Yeah. So I think she said she was going, but let me see. Yep, she brought 2 tickets. Mm-hmm. There we go. 7 p.m.
There we go.
So there we go. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So support a winning organization, St. Louis Slam, this Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time at St. Mary's High School. If you want to see what champions look like, you want to see what a winning organization looks like, a team that's hungry, that's there. They have like 15 million all-stars on their team.
That's Coach Well.
There we go. Coach Well. Support St. Louis Slam. And while you do that, continue to support your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the Platform Sports Talk Show. Annie, this has been an amazing episode. A lot of great topics, a lot of great comments coming in. Thank y'all for all the love and the comments going back and forth. That's what this show is about. Any last words before we go, Annie?
Yeah, here's the clip for From me to my haters. In summation, when LeBron retires, we put Caitlin Clark in the NBA, and Cooper Flag is to the NBA what Caitlin Clark is to the WNBA. So you can cut that and put that on the TikToks for my haters to tell me how fat I am and how much I need to lose weight. So thanks. And yes, my mom is correct that the game will be featured on one of the ESPNs, the Western Conference Finals for the Slam. Will be on one of these ESPNs, and the championship game is on ESPN too.
Yeah, because it's unfortunate that I will be out of town. Because if not, I was actually going to reach out to them to see if we can get some press passes and get some footage and get interviews and everything. That was going to be my plan. But I'm like, I'm going to be out of town, so I can't make it. I think Sadal might be going to the game. I'm going to check with him as well. But best of luck to the Slam and to everyone else. Thank y'all for tuning in to your Wednesday night Sports Light, the Platform Sports Talk Show. We're back again next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned for so much more. And y'all have a great rest of y'all evening. Check out Smoooth Conversations as well. Tomorrow, special start time, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Like, subscribe right now. Smoooth Conversations, Smoooth with 3 O's. I have an amazing guest doing very big things. He's from the Lou, but he's making his name nationwide, worldwide, should I say. It's going to be amazing. And you can also catch the show. It'll be re-aired on Beat District Radio at 6 p.m. So the live show on YouTube at 3:30, and then it'll re-air. If you miss it, it'll re-air on KBDR Beat District Radio. It is your Wednesday night Sports Light, the Platform Sports Talk Show. Thanks for tuning in. Spread the word. Share. And as Miss Dub says, haters gonna hate. And she loves you, Annie. And the Platform Sports Talk Show Network loves all of our followers and haters. Y'all have a great rest of y'all evening. We out this thing.
What you have just experienced was brought to you by Smoooth Productions. Until next time, stay tuned and stay smooth.